Hey, this is Notser, and this is the Tier 3 Premium Commonwealth Destroyer Vampire. The Vampire will probably be primarily earned through reward, but you can also purchase it on the store right now, I believe for 15 or 20 US dollars, regional equivalent obviously. But 99% of the player base is just going to do the missions and earn the ship that way. And the missions are kill 20 targets, do damage, basic stuff that you would expect from your missions. I think there's 4 or 5 different tasks that need to be completed before you can unlock it, but you get a Tier 3 Premium for the Commonwealth in a Destroyer format, and I think it's pretty fun to play. Now, I have chosen a gun build. I don't have a 19, but this is what I recommend. Main armament protection, crit protection on propulsion, for the commander, priority target, preventative maintenance, adrenaline rush, last stand, survivability expert, basic firing training, demolition expert, and concealment. So, because the single launch system exists, I just can't afford to go all in on torpedoes. They have very slow reload at this tier. 60 seconds is abysmal. That's more like a tier 6 rather than a tier 3. Usually tier 3s are 30 seconds-ish, 40 seconds, not 60. So the game's telling me, go gun. Please go gun. We beg you to go gun. However, it is of Royal Navy origin. It's an Australian Royal Navy ship that serves the Commonwealth in this game. It's got the single launch torpedo system. So that's pretty cool. It's much more usable than other systems that exist in the game with a single launch. Like the Kid. You see the Kid, you know he's committed every single torpedo. If you see the Vampire, you don't know that he's committed every torpedo. He could send 2. He could send 1. So you got to be a little bit aware of the potential threat. So I was switching between AP, HE. Velocity's really fair. It's about 805 meters per second. The American gun systems are somewhere in the 760, 780 range. So this is better than the Americans, but worse than Japanese, Soviets, and the Germans. Which is completely fine, usable, it's got good range. I don't have any issue with the guns at all. Now this flank started out really shocking. Running into that DD at point blank range. Fortunately for me, it was a Pan-Asian DD, and he could not send torpedoes at me. Unfortunately for my friend, the cruiser behind me, he was not so lucky. He was absolutely going to die to those torpedoes, and he did. But we contributed a little bit on this flank, and my teammates are suffering on the western flank, so that's where I'm headed off to. You can't swap out any of these systems. Smoke and speed boost are all that are available, which is fine. It's a tier 3. Don't expect a lot here. The AA is honestly barely noticeable, which is, again, it's a tier 3. You're lucky that there's even AA on it. Some of the ships that they've released in the past down here have been lacking in the AA department, so at least there's something. And the gun range is pretty awesome, honestly, at this tier. So I'm headed back to try and defend the friendly aircraft carriers. Probably not going to happen. And I'm engaging the enemy DD at not max range, about midpoint, mid-range. Almost in range to use torpedoes. And he pops his smoke, he's going to hide. Cool. But I'm going to continue pushing forward because there's 4 total ships over here. Plus, we have to deal with the aircraft carrier. So, firing on the broadside, I know that this ship pops smoke. I believe the DD in smoke is a Pan-Asian. I didn't read the name, but I assume it is. The other DD, not so much. The Wicks will torpedo me if I give him a chance. I don't want to give it to him. But I'm still trying to approach. And I'm just using my guns on cooldown. Nothing spectacular. We did sustain a lot of damage early on, quite frankly. And I was a little surprised by that. I am not using my recommended build. I don't have a Commonwealth commander that skilled. I'm borrowing my Perth commander. And yeah, you work with what you got. I don't even know if concealment is super necessary, just because the gun range is very impressive, and the torpedo systems, even if you went full conceal, you're not going to benefit as much as you would hope, because it's a single launcher. So this is all gun. Probably a good ship to train your Commonwealth on because of that. And we get a little AP broadside with a little bit of Citadel going on there, and I have to switch back to HE, of course. Don't expect any fires out of this unless you win a full demo. I don't have demo, and I don't have the signal flags equipped to it. This is a 10 skill that I'm using, and finally we get a fire. And it's really basic. Preventative maintenance, last stand, basic firing training, and concealment. That's the build that I am running in the game. That's not the build I recommend. Oh, go all the way. 19. Enemy DD pushing forward towards us. The other DD was killed off, which is cool for us. And I'm not going to have any problem with this guy. My guns are way better than any Japanese destroyer at this tier. There's just nothing he can do. Very accurate, very easy to use. Continue to work on the enemies. There is a threat that he might have sent torpedoes, so I want to be aware, ready to maneuver. And it feels pretty good to control. I don't have any issue. Send my single launch torpedoes. And I'm going to go back and forth between HE and AP. Look for some fires, but go AP for the broad. I feel like that's the right way to do it. It shouldn't overpin that much. And yeah, we take out the enemy cruiser. And it appears that we have wiped out, as a team, any and all enemy ships that attacked the base. Now there is an enemy DD G101 going after a friendly that is in the last position we were at. And I'm going to try and work my way towards there as quickly as I can. That's why I speed boost into high gear. And we're going to make our way over, try and engage him. But we've got to make back some points. Notice that we're down about 115, well, actually, closer to like 200, 220. 115, 220. And as I make my way towards this G101, we've got a plan to get some more kills. There's 2 enemy aircraft, there's 2 enemy battleships, and a destroyer. Last known position, G101. There's also a last known position on the battleship in sort of the northeast side. And then there was a South Carolina that was in the center. I have no idea where these aircraft carriers are, but you can infer a little bit based on the squadrons and where they're headed. And unfortunately, my friendlies are going to take a lot of damage. I'm just going full gear. I'm not using any speed flag or anything like that. So you could probably touch something like 39. Or maybe even 40. I think the speed was, what, 34, so speed boost is going to be 20% of that. You'll be able to get, yeah, I think you could definitely touch 40 with the speed flag, but it's a tier 3, who cares? Enemy G101 shows up. Gun systems work just fine. They're better velocity than the Americans, and if you can make the Americans work, you can make these work. But we're still down by a significant margin. We need to make back points. And there are 2 ships spotted. One in the center, South Carolina, and then one on the northeast side, Wyoming. I could engage either one of them. They're equivalent distance away from my ship right now. Since my primary armament is the guns, I will do just fine doing damage to these guys. But I have to make a choice. And I recognize that the friendly has torpedoes in the gap. He sent 1 full set off of his starboard side, and I expect him to have his port side torpedoes, maybe he could take out the enemy battleship. If he doesn't take it out and he dies, it's just another ship that I have to shoot down. So I decide, okay, let's have faith that our teammate will at least trade 1-to-1, and let's work on this battleship. So I'm headed out towards him. Good concealment. Obviously, I'm going to get first shot. And we're going to be very accurate with our shot. It's going to work out very well. I could choose to go into smoke. However, I am the only one detecting the target right now. So I'm just going to rely on my size and maneuverability. And the Vampire is a very clean-looking ship. It reminds me a lot of the Campbelltown, HMS Campbelltown, with the color scheme. It's nothing spectacular, but it's there. It has a hull number, which is nice. It's got a good size. It's not easy to hit, although it's not Japanese or some of the Germans. Those torpedo boats, and they feel like torpedo boats at this tier, are ridiculous to hit. They're so low in the water, so tiny. And this is not that. This is much more British and American, where it's pronounced, it's obvious. But this is a one-fire kind of guy. And he put out that one fire, and we set another fire on him. I'm trying to move into torpedo range, and my intent is to single launch these. Absolutely single launch, and maybe I should have given him a little bit more lead. I think I'm gonna miss. I think I sent a little bit too behind him. Based on the direction he was headed, I assumed that he would not want to sail directly into the island. Clearly. But he gained speed, headed directly towards the island. The torpedoes are gonna miss. They're gonna miss. Just gotta do a little bit better. Spread the torpedoes out. I honestly am not as comfortable with British launching systems as I would hope. I don't recognize exactly what makes it work the best. I feel much more comfortable with 2 launches. You give a little bit of lead based on him coming out of a turn or not coming out of a turn, and you'll get 2 or 3. And if you layer it right, it's going to be hard for them to avoid. For a British with 1 torpedo system, it's sort of an all or nothing. You're committed to the direction he's headed. If he changes his direction, you've missed. And you gotta wait for the reload. And that's exactly what happened. So, there's only 2 enemy aircraft carriers left. Friendly is pressuring one of them. I have no idea how much health is on the enemy aircraft carrier, but I'm gonna try and intercept the aircraft carrier that is sort of headed up the western side of the map. And we're going to see how much damage we can do. And, whoa, unfortunately, the friendly takes a ton of damage. And we still haven't locked this up. Because the enemy was sitting in our capture so long, we got to get a kill. So, boost in the high gear. Trying to go maximum speed. I'm about to hit 37. If I had speed flag, it would be even better. But I don't. Yeah. Come on, Vampire, you can get there. And I'm honestly happy with what I've been playing. Vampire we'll get a chance to see its AA protection. It's just like every other DD at this tier. What a protection. But Vampire has been working out pretty good. I'm pleasantly surprised by this ship because the gun systems are so effective. And because it has benefit of the single launch torpedoes. If it didn't have that, I don't know that I would even consider the torpedoes a viable strategy. Now, the enemy aircraft carrier was unsuccessful with a dive bomb. Unfortunately, I lost that in some weird video corruption, but you'll get to see him try torpedo attack. And because it's automatic, he's got to do it way in advance. We take a dive bomb. I do have to use my damage control, but he's in a really tough spot. There's really nothing he can do, and I, of course, plan on killing him. Because we need to. We need to do a lot of work. We need to try and find the other aircraft carrier and kill him, quite frankly. And as long as I keep hitting that huge void that exists in the ship. But I'm close enough, I'm going to send my torpedoes. Single launch. Langley, why do you have to have so little armor? And I don't think I can use AP. I think I need him a little bit softer. Take the target out. Earn Kraken Unleashed. Yeah, she's a pretty good ship. And now there's only one enemy aircraft carrier left. Look at the game. We have to kill him. Or friendly has to sit on the enemy capture long enough to make back those points that we lost out on when the enemy team attacked our aircraft carriers. And I'm going to try and dodge, of course. And we've shot down, what, 2 aircraft? Yeah, honestly, I'm shocked that we've shot down 2. Just because of the tier, enemy aircraft carrier has sustained pretty heavy losses. I asked the friendly, how much damage you do. Oh, he's at half. Okay, cool. I don't really have to try that hard. Shells do a great amount of damage, good placement, very easy. It's a slow ship, so we barely survived, but we are alive and contributing a ton to the team. And as far as the vampire is concerned, just use its strengths, minimize its weaknesses, go guns, and fire on the enemy. When you get a chance to use your torpedoes, use them, but don't try and design your strategy around using them because they're just not enough to make a huge impact. 6 kills, Kraken Unleashed, devastating strike. Great game for the Vampire. It's a solid ship at tier 3. I'm really happy it's a reward ship. Good luck to everyone trying to do the missions. I think they last for 2 weeks, 3, 4 weeks, I don't know. Either way, hope you enjoy it. Hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll catch you next time.